Greetings and welcome to the Prepare for Squad segment of the WinLABS tournament presentation. Most of the tasks that we will describe in this phase can be done at intervals well in advance of your first squad. For example, you should run the entry fee summary report at regular intervals to help keep your books. If you plan on using 3-part recap sheets, they should be ordered a month in advance. Once you have them, print a sample sheet or two to make sure that the dot matrix printer you are using will work with your Windows environment. At least 2 weeks before the first squad, it is time to make preparations for the event. The data that you will be looking at is from an actual tournament. It will not match the setup descriptions that we created in earlier segments. In this segment, we will be verifying the accounts, checking the entries for mistakes, verifying averages and memberships, and printing recap sheets. Here we see the Sign Up tab after many entries have been created. We will now go over some of the reports that should be run at regular intervals prior to your first squad. From here, click on the Print button to continue. Because we were on the Sign Up tab when we clicked on the Print button, WinLABS took us to a list of reports applicable to this phase of your tournament. We have already discussed the confirmation letters in earlier segments. These letters are normally run at least weekly to get the confirmations back to the team captains as soon as possible. Up next is the entry fee summary report. This report will be utilized to help keep your books throughout the entire tournament. Highlight the report and click Preview. Here is a sample summary. On the left is the event column. Next is the division. In our example, we had 2 handicap divisions and 1 optional scratch. The next column shows the number of teams in each division. As you can see, we had 85 teams. 30 of them were in the 801 and over division. 55 were in the 800 and under division. There were also 12 teams that paid the optional scratch fee. The prize fee column shows the total prizes collected in each division. The expense fee column shows the expenses collected in each division. The lineage fee shows the lineage totals. Notice that they are collected at the event level and not at the divisional level. The last column lists the total amounts collected for each division. Here is the bottom half of the same entry fee summary report. Notice the subtotals for each event. And on the bottom, the totals for the entire tournament are listed as well. The next report that should be run at regular intervals is the Open Receivables by Entry report. This will list entries where the money added to the entry does not match the event assignments. This will help you catch mistakes where you may not have placed a bowler in an event. This is a common occurrence. One thing it will not catch is a mistake where you gave the wrong person the all events. This can only be caught by the team captain when he or she reviews the confirmation letter. Another good reason to make sure you send confirmation letters to all team captains. Here is a sample of the Open Receivables report. Listed is one entry where the team captain was $10 short. You can't use the report to make that assumption. After an entry is listed, go back to the Sign Up tab and examine the entry and register closely. Here is the entry register showing that the entry did not pay the required fee. At the top of the amount column, you see that $229 was added to the entry. Then you see the amounts that each event deducted from the total. After the cost of all of the events was deducted, the balance was $10. Here's a common situation. You run the entry fee summary report. You notice that the number of teams that you thought had entered your tournament does not match the number on your cash ledger. The number on the report was 1 less than your ledger. Remember this, the entry fee summary report will not show a team that does not have a division. If your divisional assignments were age-based and a bowler did not have a date of birth, WinLABS would not know what to do. One way to catch this is to run the possible problems by entry report. As you can see, there are many ways to run the report. Do not check off more than one option at a time. No matter how your divisions are assigned, you should run this report at least once to check for teams that have not been assigned to a division or squad. If your tournament does not allow multiple entry or limits the number of players that can bowl multiple times together, you should occasionally run the duplicate teams report. This will list duplicate teams or bowlers. Run it by individual event. Do not run it for your all events because it will list those that are on 2 entries. Many youth tournaments have other people placing the participants on teams. This could also happen in other tournaments when people agree to bowl with their friends but do not pay attention to the team or double schedules. The Bowlers with Squad Conflicts report will list those bowlers that you have scheduled to bowl on 2 squads on the same day. When your entries close, or at least 2 weeks before your first squad, it is time to make preparations for running the events. Here you see the Prepare for Squad screen. There are a few tasks that you will want to perform before you run the check-in reports or recap sheets. The first task is to verify averages. For local associations, most of the averages are probably verified already. However, it is a good idea to run the report to re-verify just before squad time. Click on the Verify Average button to start the program. The program defaults to 1 squad. If your entries have closed and the entries are all in, you can run it for all squads. If you have already done some manual verifications, you're going to want to skip them. A manual verification might be necessary when a bowler utilizes a current year average that is not in the database. When you click OK, WinLABS will go through every bowler and re-verify the average entered in the tournament against the league averages stored in your system. When the program is done running, it will return to the Prepare for Squad screen. In the above example, there's a bowler with an entering average of 161 that was not verified. The average that was found in the database was 147. This information will also show up in the check-in reports so that issues can be resolved before bowling begins. The next task is especially important for state tournaments. States get multiple updates of their bowler databases from USBC headquarters. They may have created the entries long before the memberships showed up in their database. The Verify membership process will identify those that have not yet purchased a membership. This information is also part of the check-in reports. Those that are checking in without a membership card can be allowed to bowl without purchasing another card because the system shows that they have paid. Here are some notes about the lane assignment process in WinLABS. Whether you assign lanes manually or automatically, you may want to view or print the lane assignment worksheet. The report lists the teams in entry number order. It provides information that may benefit the manual assignment process. At a minimum, it will identify those teams that wanted to bowl alongside of another specific team. Your options when assigning automatically allows you to group teams by average or by date received. Grouping by average allows you to separate the worst teams from your better bowlers. The high averages can be assigned towards the middle of the squad. Grouping by date received places those that you receive first in the middle, and those that sent their entries in late end up on the end lanes. There are 2 different lane assignment worksheet reports. From the Prepare for Squad tab, click on the Print button to access them. We will not be showing them here. To assign lanes automatically, go to the squad that you wish to assign and click the Auto Assign Lanes button. The system defaults to 1 squad. It is a good idea not to go too far ahead of your schedule. We recommend a weekend's worth at the most. Your first option is to assign lanes from the center out or from the low-numbered lanes to the higher-numbered lanes. We recommend from the center outward. If you continuously assign lanes from the low end and you group them by high average, you will find your highest average team on the end lane more often than they would like. The next option wants to know how you would like to group them. Your options are first entries received or high average teams. The last option is for squads that are not full. It allows you to take the teams that you have already grouped and assign them to one end of the center or the other. For example, 12 teams in a 16-lane center have been grouped by average. You can now put them on lane 1 through 12 or 5 through 16. Click OK to assign the lane numbers to the current squad. Upon completion of the lane assignment process, WinLABS will return to the Prepare for Squad screen. Note that the teams are always listed in entry number order on this screen. At this point, we have printed a lane assignment worksheet to see if there were any requests from the team captains to bowl with others. We've also verified averages and memberships and assigned lanes to the squad. It is now time to run the check-in reports. Here is an overview of a process that works pretty well. The first report to print is what we call a cross-reference report. It could be called an alphabetical check-in because that is what it is. Next, print the check-in report. You have the option of printing them in lane order or entry number order. We recommend lane order mainly because the forms need to end up on the lanes. Recap sheets should be printed in the same order as the check-in reports. Here is how they all work together. At the door of the check-in room, place the cross-reference report on a flip chart. Request that all bowlers find their lane number and report it to the check-in table. Bowlers also are interested in just one thing: where do I bowl? At the check-in table, you have the team check-in report in lane order. You also have the recap sheets in lane order. The bowler checks in and indicates he or she is on lane 9. They are also reporting an average change. You check them in, change their average on the check-in report. Most importantly, you go to the recap sheet, which is in lane order, and change the bowler's average there. Later, when all the scores are added to the recap sheet, you do not have to go and look for changes. Here is a sample of the cross-reference list. As you can see, it is an alphabetical list of the bowlers on this squad. We recommend that you post this in a convenient location where the bowler can find their lane. Here you see a sample of the team check-in report. The teams are in lane order. Bowlers are listed by team. If a team owes money, it'll show up in the amount due column. Averages are listed as well as indications as to whether the average was verified or not. Membership verifications are also listed. WinLABS provides many different recap sheet options. For 3-part forms, the team supports up to 5 people on a team. Use the same form if you have a 3 or 4 person team. The doubles and singles combined, sometimes called minor events, is designed for tournaments that have the doubles and singles bowling together. This form, which lists the doubles first, is used whether or not the doubles are actually bowled before the singles. The doubles forms are for doubles tournaments, or for those tournaments that bowl the doubles and singles separately. The singles forms are for singles-only tournaments or for tournaments where they are bowled separately from the doubles. WinLABS also provides sheet-fed options printed on plain paper. You can print 2 teams per sheet for the team event, 1 doubles and 2 singles for the combined minor events, 2 doubles per sheet for the doubles-only squads, and 3 singles per sheet for the singles-only squads. Here is what you see when you highlight the recap sheet report. We have already selected the team event. Team Squad 1 has already been selected. These selections are made by clicking on the down arrow. All squads will be listed there. Note that you can also print a weekend of squads at one time. Since these reports have to be collated by squad, it might be preferable to print them one squad at a time. You have the option of listing the city of the team captain or the center where the entry originated. The center option would depend on whether you added the center to the entry during the sign-up phase. States have the association in lieu of the center option. If you are printing sheet-fed recap sheets, you can have the option of printing 1 form per sheet instead of the standard 2. Some tournaments print on sheet-fed forms, and they bring a 3-in-1 printer to the center to make a copy of the recap if the team captain wants one. Very few do. What you see here is a sample of a sheet-fed team recap previewed on the screen. Across the top you see the entry number, lane number, squad date, time, and number. You can also see that this team is in Division 2, 800 and under. Just below this you can see the recap sheet number and the tournament name, followed by the team name and city where the team is from. The recap sheet number is used later during the entry of scores. The team lineup is shown along with each bowler's individual average. Notice that the individual handicaps are not shown. They are confusing for tournaments using the team method of handicapping, which is what we used here. There's a place for the team captain to sign the form, verifying the averages and lineup. There's also a place for the captain's address. This is used only if the address is changed since the entry was submitted. Bowler scores and totals go here. This is an example of the output when using the three-part team form. It is a pre-printed form, which is why you only see the data that gets added. The form looks similar to the sheet-fed one just shown. The form you wish to use is selected on the Output Options tab of the Recap Sheet report. Use the drop-down arrow in the Stock field to make the selection. Once the report is previewed on the screen, you can direct it to the printer by clicking on the printer icon at the top of the screen. Additional reports that can be utilized during this phase of the tournament include the tournament bowlers, which is an alphabetical listing of all the bowlers scheduled to participate in your tournament. It is lengthy and optional. The Teams by Squad report is mainly for state tournaments that wish to publish a list of teams on each squad. The team count by center or association lists the numbers of teams tied to a center or association. This concludes the Prepare for Squad phase of your tournament.